Hey, welcome back. It's nice to see you studying the Gospel of Mark 5 minutes at a time. Remember, we're matching what the lectionary readings are in year B, so some will be shorter and some will be longer. Today we continue on with chapter 1, verse 29, and I read. As soon as they left the synagogue and entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever. And they told Jesus about her at once. He came and took her by the hand and lifted her up. Then the fever left her, and she began to serve them. That evening at sundown, they brought to Jesus all who were sick or possessed with demons, and the whole city was gathered around the door. And he cured many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. In the morning, while it was still very dark, Jesus got up and he went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon and his companions hunted for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is searching for you." And Jesus answered, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns, so that I may proclaim the message there also, for that is what I came out to do." And he went throughout Galilee, proclaiming the message into their synagogues and casting out demons. So we will stop there. The word I invite us to consider is rise. Jesus was a norm breaker. He goes into Simon Peter's house there with Andrew, James, and John. In the back room, his mother is ill. It would be unlikely, if not super unlikely, for somebody who is not part of the family to go into a woman's room and furthermore to take her hand, but Jesus does. He goes in there and he takes her hand. And when he does, she's healed and the fever leaves her and she gets up and she begins to serve them. And the word rise makes me wonder what fever occupies your mind. What are the things that possess your mind? Is it sports teams? Is it money? Is it work? Is it relationships? Is it your kids' lives and organizing things so your kids' lives are as you think they should be for the best of them, of course? Right? What is it that fevers your mind? Because what Jesus then does is he invites Peter's mother, and you and I as well, to take his hand, right? And to hold on to him, to focus on him, all right? And then to be lifted up and to use the gifts that we have to serve him. So for Peter's mother, the gifts that she has is feeding and caring for community, and in fact, reaching out to community. We see that later on as we move into the text. He says, "Rise." And my invitation to you is to arise, to set the fever down, to name the fever. Today, I want you to name the fever. And if you don't know what the fever is, this is an exercise to help you understand what the fever of your mind is. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Set your phone, 5 minutes, that's all. Just sit quietly. And whatever the thing is that's spinning most in your mind is the thing that fevers your mind. And then take that and give it over to Jesus. Right? Say, "Jesus, you worry about my children's future or my financial life or my work life or my football team," whatever it is. All those things are fine, right? No value judgment on those. They're real parts of our lives, and they're important parts. But we give them over to Jesus, and then we use whatever gift Jesus has to serve the world. So we move on. Jesus then gets up in the morning. He goes out and prays, right? Quiet time. Jesus focuses on God. That's what we're called to do when we pray. I get up in the morning every morning and I sit quietly for a period of time, and I try to focus on God. You know what? I focus on those other things. I focus on the fevered things, but in truth, then I draw it back, and I focus on the dominion and the lovely, gracious nature of our God. Jesus does that, and then he gets up and he goes out. He goes on his way. Now, I want to say something about this. So, Jesus is always on the move. We know that as we read the scripture. And I think it's easy to think that he's on the move because he wants to carry the message around. And that's what he's going to do, because that's what he does. Wherever he goes, he's going to carry the message around. But did Jesus need to move to carry the message around? No, he probably could have sat in the same place. People would have come and they would have carried the message, because the message is good news and everyone's going to hear it. But Jesus was on the move because he is the Son of God. He is the second person of the Trinity. And as such, he has the power of God, which means he never, by choice, takes away anyone's freedom. Herod is after him. And he knows that if he has a confrontation with Herod, he either has to go with Herod prior to when he's ready to, or he has to take away the people who are seeking to capture their freedom. And so he moves. He moves to avoid that. Anyway, all that's to say, today our word is arise. Lift it up, set the fever aside, and worship God. Glad to be with you. Peace upon your soul.